Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, blah, 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 blah. You get it. Mullet Mike here, bringing you yet another episode of Creepy Gaming. If you're just joining us, this is a show where we take a look at all kinds of creepy video game aspects. You wanted it? You got it. Today, I will be going over probably my most highly requested episode to date. SONIC.EXE. So, without further ado, turn the lights down and the volume up as we journey into some creepy gaming. SONIC.EXE. For whatever reason, Sonic the Hedgehog has had a lot of creepy coincidences over the years. From the hidden message in Sonic CD to the Tails doll curse from SONIC.EXE, this blue hedgehog has been the center of creepy gaming controversy. Since starting this series, I have continuously gotten requests for SONIC.EXE. If you know me, then you know I'm not a big fan of gaming creepypastas. Some are okay, but they usually tend to be the same story. Two friends, strange looking disc or cartridge, usually with the name written on it in a black marker, plenty of opportunities to quit playing said game. The game breaks the fourth wall, disrupts the players' lives, usually resulting in their deaths. Slap a .exe or .jpeg or .wmv and you got yourself a cliche creepypasta. But in all fairness, SONIC.EXE has been around for a while, and because so many of you have requested this episode, I will attempt to put my skepticism to the side and present to you SONIC.EXE. Alright, let's start with the story itself. Rather than just read you the creepypasta word for word, I will give you my own abridged version of the story. Much like the Tails doll curse, this story revolves around two friends, Tom and Kyle. Tom, the guy telling the story, claims that his friend Kyle, who he hasn't seen in a while, sent him a letter along with a strange disc. The word Sonic.EXE was written on the disc with a black marker. The letter Tom received stated, "Tom, I can't take it anymore. I had to get rid of this thing somehow before it was too late. And I was hoping you could do it for me. I can't do it. He's after me, and if you don't destroy this CD, he'll come after you too. He's too fast for me. Please, Tom, destroy this godforsaken disc before he comes after you too. It's too late for me. Destroy the disc and you'll destroy him. But do it quick, otherwise he'll catch you. Don't even play the game. It's what he wants. Just destroy it. Please, Kyle." So Tom did what anybody else would do. He played the game after his obviously disheveled friend pleaded with him to destroy the disc. Dumbass. He plays Sonic.EXE and immediately notices something wrong with the game. Gee, you think? Okay, no, I'm sorry. Back to the story. I'll be here all day. So when Tom began the game, he noticed the title screen quickly changed for a split second. The background looked dark and gloomy. What was once the blue water turned into a sea of blood. The copyright year in the bottom corner changed to say Sega 666. And to top things off, Sonic's eyes were blackened as blood poured from his sockets. Tom then saw what looked like a character select screen, very reminiscent of the Sonic 3 save selection. The playable characters were Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik, which is strange because Eggman was never a playable character in early Sonic games. Tom selected Tails and began the first level. He saw that there were no enemies, no obstacles, nothing. As he progressed through the stage, he began to see small, dead animals, bloodied, scattered, all throughout the level. That's when he saw what looked like Sonic. No. This is the part of the creepypasta where most normal people would quit playing the damn game. But the main character, in this case Tom, continues to play either out of curiosity or from some outside party forcing him. Needless to say, Tom kept playing. The next level started with a title card saying Hide and Seek. The stage design looked very much like Angel Island from Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Tom claims that Tails actually looked at him and began to make frantic gestures, as if the game was actually trying to communicate with him. This is what happened next. How about no? Now this is the part of the story where the player is given a second chance to quit the game, but instead, once again, thinks that continuing to play the game would be the smarter move. In all fairness, I guess it would make for a pretty shitty story if he was just like, fuck this. So anyways, Tom continues to play this strange game. He then selected Knuckles, but Knuckles unfortunately shared the same fate as Tails did. After Knuckles met his demise, Tom noticed that the character select screen showed a bloodied Tails and a bloodied Knuckles. At this point, Tom shut the game off. He didn't know what to think. Tom then took a nap, in which he'd later regret, because his nightmares were filled with the cries of Tails and Knuckles. He then saw the sketchy Sonic and woke up in a fright. Tom tried figuring out exactly what was going on. After hours of contemplation, Tom decides to play SONIC.EXE again and to finish the game as Robotnik. This is what happened next. Suddenly, Sonic popped right in front of Robotnik the same way he did with the previous characters. The static lasted longer than it had before, then revealing to Tom a very creepy image. Tom claims he saw a hyper-realistic picture of Sonic with glowing red eyes, fang-like teeth, as well as blood dripping from his mouth. The image lasted for about 30 seconds before static flickered 3 times. Tom then heard what sounded like a demonic laugh, followed by the message, "I am God." It was then Tom had an epiphany, and I quote, "This Sonic was a monster, a pure evil, sadistic, all-powerful, nightmarish, demented monster. And all of his victims, including Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik, and possibly Kyle, are just his little toys. And the game is the very gateway into his chaotic, nightmarish world and the very hell his victims are trapped in." End quote. One last text came up. Shortly after, the computer shut itself off. Tom was unable to restart it for quite some time. When he finally was able to get it turned back on, he heard a voice from behind him. He swiftly turned around only to find sitting on his bed was a Sonic plushie, smiling with bloodstains under its eyes. So there you have it. That's Sonic.exe in a nutshell. The creepypasta itself is kinda cliche, but because it's been around for so long, this is a perfect example of what came first, the chicken or the egg. Which creepypasta came first, Tails Doll or Sonic.exe? After hours of research, I could not find any definitive evidence that this story really happened. The gameplay you have been watching throughout this video has been a fan-made game based on the Creepypasta. You can even see the credits on the game over screen. In all fairness, this guy made a pretty good interpretation of the story. The game over music from the Sonic CD was a nice touch. I remember when I first read this Creepypasta. At the time, there was no known quote-unquote actual gameplay. This screenshot was the only item floating around at the time. It left a lot to the imagination. It made you want to go on a YouTube hunt and try to find any actual footage, but because the time we live in, it has made it nearly impossible. Video games can be hacked, and photos can be edited. It's hard to be credible on the internet without the proper sources. So overall, what do I think? Well, personally, I don't find it that scary. Just my opinion, but I think that it's kind of overrated. The story is good for entertainment purposes, but I don't personally find it all that frightening. I don't mean to bash the Creepypasta or anything, I just think it gets enough praise already. So what about the story itself? Well, if I switch perspectives and look at it for what it's worth as an entertaining story, then it's pretty good. This Creepypasta does a good job of making you want to know what's going to happen next. You can't help but ask yourself what you would do if you were in Tom's shoes, and for that, it serves its purpose. I will say this much. Sonic the Hedgehog and creepy gaming go hand in hand. I don't know what it is about this guy, but I look forward to finding more scary Sonic stuff. So either way, regardless of how you feel about SONIC.EXE, whether you think it's the best creepypasta in the world or the biggest pile of horseshit you've ever heard, you've got to respect it. You've got to at least appreciate it, because SONIC.EXE will forever go down in creepy gaming history. If you have a suggestion for creepy gaming, please let me know in the comments below. I think that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I am Mullet Mike with Sega. You stay creepy. Thanks for watching. Peace.